Thank you very much indeed. It's a real pleasure to be here. What I'd like to talk about are connected data environments, but also to consider what might be beyond that. And the way I'd like to do this is to use some project examples to illustrate what we mean by common data environments, but then to look beyond that and start to consider what might happen if we can have more interoperable data and greater connection between systems, and start thinking about connected data environments, and then go beyond that again and consider what might happen if we can federate more widely and come up with connected digital twins. But to set the scene and to start it all off, I'd like to talk a little bit about digital transformation, and in particular to show how people are at the top and information is in the middle. And the reason for doing this is to say that people in this are the most important. I think digital transformation is all about enabling people, but it's enabling people to use information better, to make better decisions. And that's where value gets released. But it's also about improving processes, and it's about applying technology more wisely. And so those improvements of processes and technology are really all about enabling a better management of information. And that is then about enabling people to make better decisions. So as I say, people at the top and information in the middle. And so this then means that we can see the real value of data, and it points to why we need common data environments. So let's start with common data environments. And I think at its root, a common data environment is really a means of providing a collaborative environment for sharing work. It's about collaborating around shared data. It's about moving from a chaotic data environment where nobody really knows who's got what data, what is the master data, what is the current version. So moving from that kind of chaos to a common data environment where there's a single source of truth and you've got streamlined processes, much better coordination, reducing rework. And so this is what a common data environment is all about. And a really good example of it would be from some of the work we did on Tideway. Thames Tideway is a huge project in London, helping to clean up the River Thames. About £4.2 billion worth of investment, and many different organisations working on the project. And so the connected data environment that we see here is MacDonald hosting the CDE, coordinating BIM and project controls, deliverables and project information. And really the value of this is that it can provide intelligent reporting, information control, kind of clear ownership, and maybe most importantly, efficient delivery and coordination. And so it delivers real significant savings. If we look beyond that though, because there's huge advantages just in having that kind of centralized single source of truth that you get with a common data environment. But we can imagine beyond that and consider what happens if you can get data interoperability beyond just a centralized system and start thinking more of a distributed system that is connected. And the connections are principally provided by having interoperable data. And so this still follows the same ideas, the same intent, the intent that you see enshrined in ISO 19650. But it unlocks the potential of more value. And the project that I would call up on this one is High Speed 2, another huge project in the UK. 70 kilometers of high-speed railway and 300 assets, and MacDonald has been involved in delivering this as part of the Mainworks design joint venture, with over 1,000 designers in 30 different locations and 18 different disciplines. But importantly, one integrated project team, and at the heart of this is having a connected data environment. enabling superior data management and making use of user-friendly, revolutionary technology. And so what this does is enable much quicker access to data, more informed decision-making, saving all sorts of time. And the kind of numbers that we're talking about in terms of the saving are around £200,000 resulting from more effective asset information management, but a 95% reduction in time taken to access the federated model, and more than £1 million of saving through the use of intelligent content on the Mott platform. So real significant savings from using this kind of approach. And so I'd like to dig into that approach a little bit more and point out that a connected data environment really is all about connecting up the systems. And even though there might be independent data sources, it's bringing them together, providing assurance checks, making sure there's the trustworthiness of the data, configuration management and project controls enabled from this connectivity of the data. And so really at the heart of it is data. Data is at the heart of the project. It's key to unlocking value. And importantly, it's enabling an information flow through the processes, because we can see that information is the carrier of value. And when you get to a decision point, that's where the value of the information is released. So it's all about getting the right information in the right hands at the right time to make the right decision. But that's all based on data. And how to get the data interoperable? Well, a large part of it is to do with common coding and having a common approach, so that even though data might come from different sources, it can come together in a way that that fits. So with data at the heart of delivery, driving connectivity, driving integration, you can see that this common coding, enabling the interoperability of data, is really key. So it doesn't just rely on having a centralized database where all the data sits. The data can sit in different places. It can be distributed, but it's still connected because of that common coding. It means that we need to have a common approach to the data, consistent, high-quality data models. And what that enables then is this information flow, and getting the information flow to the right people. And that is absolutely key, because it's the people who make the decisions, and you need to get the data to the right people. So as I started with on that triangle, people at the top, information in the middle. And so seeing kind of data as being what's at the heart, that then enables the information flow to the right people to make the right decisions. And so if we kind of join all of that up and see what a connected data environment does for us, we can see that it enables a structured but flexible approach. It improves the user experience and means that it becomes data enabled. I wouldn't say data driven, but data enabled. At the absolute heart of it is this idea of interoperable data founded on common data models, which enables the connected systems. That's really the key that unlocks the value of a connected data environment. That's what it's all about. Now, if we see that and we like that for delivery, and the benefits are already shown. I used a very brief project example to show that, but we recognize that it's really in delivery. But the same kind of idea can be taken wider than delivery into what else happens with our infrastructure assets. And so what I'd like to do is take this on to the idea of connected digital twins. And so what this diagram is trying to do is show that the delivery we just talked about is the little circle off to the top right-hand corner. It's a really important part of the construction industry. It's what we do, we deliver. But I think it's really informative for us to see that the delivery is part of a bigger system. It's about the operation and maintenance and use of our infrastructure. And we can look at each individual part of that infrastructure, whether it's energy or transport or water, but the same kind of diagram would be relevant. And I think the thing is that if we can see the value of that connected data through delivery, we can also see the value of that connected data through operation, maintenance, and use. It's exactly the same story. And we can also see the value of the information flow through these processes, because we know that information carries value. If the information doesn't flow, then it's blocking value. And so we need that golden thread of information flow through all of these processes. But the basic concept of having that connected data enabled by high quality data models, having the interoperability of data, connecting up systems, is exactly the same thing for the whole of infrastructure and not just the delivery of it. And that's where digital twins and connected digital twins come in. And so just to illustrate that very briefly, if we think about individual digital twins, it's really about a connection between the digital and physical worlds, where you have data going one way from physical into digital. Within the digital worlds, we generate insights, helping to make better decisions, which then drives interventions back in the physical world. So we've got this two-way connection. It's a cyber-physical system. But if we can imagine one digital twin, we can imagine many of them. So a digital twin of the train, but also the track, also the signaling. And in the physical world, these are all joined up. But what we can imagine is them being joined up in the digital world too. And so this is what we mean by connected digital twins, a connection in the digital world between digital twins. And what enables that is exactly the same thing that we just talked about in terms of a connected data environment. If we draw that at an infrastructure level, at the level of the whole of the built environment, we can start to see digital worlds emerging, and all over the place you can imagine lots of different digital twins, and then those connected up by this connected data environment to enable an ecosystem of connected digital twins. And what's at the heart of it is the same as what we talked about for the connected data environment. Really, at the heart, at the core of it, there's a semantic solution which requires a consistent approach to data modeling. It means we need high quality data models that are shared. We also need shared reference data and common security and access protocols. But essentially, it's just an extension of what we've already talked about for a connected data environment. And so what I hope I've done in just a few minutes is take us through the kind of the logical connections from what we started with common data environments, where we can see collaboration around shared data, a single source of the truth. But that can potentially be centralized. We can then move beyond that to imagine a distributed, connected solution via interoperable data in connected data environments, and move beyond that again to look at the same, but for the whole system, an ecosystem of connected digital twins with secure information flow across organizational and sector boundaries. And at the heart of it, a semantic solution enabling that federation. So it's a very quick scoot through it, but I hope that that's useful. Thank you very much.